Hey everybody, Jill here. I just threw this one on. We're going to be taking a look at this one here and another one, both by Jon Renau. Very different colors, very different styles. So let's dive in. Okay, this one is called Selena by Jon Renau. This is in the color Palm Springs Blonde, and it is a synthetic, also not heat friendly. So before I even, I think, deal with this crisscross part, I am going to do a spin so you can see what this one looks like all the way around. So let's do that first. Like I was a little off there. For me, something has to happen here. I don't look good in a middle part, first of all. I also don't think it's best for me to have something this flat and just down and straight right against my face. That doesn't work for me, for my taste. And I think in general, so right now I'm like, no, this one may not be for me, but I'm not going to give up on it yet because you guys, we have a full monofilament top. So this whole top, all the way back here, all in here, this whole thing here is monofilament, which opens up where you can part it. And it will still give you a really lovely, realistic part experience. So you'll be able to see scalp there, and it's lovely. Full monofilament is not underrated, I think, because especially for me, someone like me that really enjoys sort of changing it up. You may wear the same wig 3 days in a row, but it looks very different every single time. I love that. And so that gives me a nice versatile sort of approach to how I style and wear my wigs. So I'm gonna just try my best to break up this part, and it may take me parting it somewhere completely different actually, which I think I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just do what I normally do, which I generally, unless it just doesn't work, I generally am a left to right side parter. So to start off, I think for now, I'm just going to do a sort of off-center left to right side part. Now, because this part was really in there and it's been sitting in the box there, you may struggle when you first start trying to change up that part, because I can say you can part it anywhere, but sometimes it's going to take a little extra something to really put that new part in there for you, and that could be a little bit of heat. And I can tell that may just be what I may have to do. Either that, I'm really going to have to take it to the side, hoping the weight itself will kind of help this a little, get a little bit more fibers over to that side, kind of help to weigh it down a little bit. Sometimes that is in order as well, and it can help. But, right. So yes, I definitely think a little heat would be necessary in times like this, when even probably some product, some hairspray may not really do the trick. I use a hot air brush, so I'm gonna go fetch the one that I use and explain to you why you need to look for something similar. I will even put a link to one very similar, because I think this exact one may not be available anymore. I am not sure, but let me go get it and I'll talk to you a little bit about hot air brushes and their safe use on even non-heat friendly fibers. Even just going into the bathroom and stuff, it went right back to its original part. So yeah, I think we're gonna need to coax it and a little more. Okay, now don't fret. They do not make this one anymore, or at least I have not been able to find a link for it in a very long time, but I have found one that is very similar with the criteria that I recommend with a hot air brush for use on synthetic fibers. You want the inexpensive ones, quite honestly. You want the ones that are all plastic. Okay, so this whole barrel, even in here, it's plastic. You really want that because the ceramic ones or even the silvery metal ones, they get too hot. They get too hot for these synthetic fibers and can ruin them very quickly. So even though you may find one with plastic little bristles here, if the base is metal or ceramic, avoid that. The other thing I recommend is when you look at the little bristles here, you don't want the black sort of stiff hair ones, you know, the ones that are almost bristly, if that makes sense, because with these fibers, even these non-heat friendly fibers, I still prefer to use a wide tooth pick. You can use wig sort of comb brushes that are, well, maybe I'll link one of those down below too, or I'll put it up here so you can see what I'm talking about. Those are fine also for the non-HD fibers. On HD fibers, for sure, this is the only thing I would use, but I tend to only use these on these as well, on this type of fiber as well. So you start using this, you know, you want to be careful. So I like this because it's just one little plastic sort of bristle. They're not super close together and they do tend to glide through the fibers easily. The other thing I like is that there's a low and a high on this. So the one that I'm going to link also has that feature. On the hot air brushes, really it just is the amount of air it's pushing out more than the heat setting. The heat setting on this one and the one I'm going to link stays the same. It's just how much air it pushes out. So both of them I have found have not done anything to my wigs and it's totally fine. You can experiment which works best. So anytime you use any sort of heat on any of your synthetic fibers or your human hair for that matter, but for synthetic fibers, I really recommend a heat protectant. I love this one. It's by Jon Renau and it's called Heat Protect. You definitely want to spritz this on even before you use something like this. That is a very gentle, warm heat. It doesn't ever get really hot, even on the high setting. The other trick to using this or even steam is you want to move it constantly. You don't want to sit there with it for at a long time, you know, especially these non-heat friendly fibers. So you want to move it constantly. So let's see if we get any luck by using this. So I can kind of lock in more of this part and not make it look so sort of pointy here. See how it's just kind of going wink, and I have this sort of really weird lifted area. And although I do like kind of my sides here to lift and kind of go away, like right here is fine, but it's also doing that back here. That's not good. So let's go ahead and give this a go. All right, I'm not sure yet if that's going to be good enough. Okay, I think we did kind of deal with that real weird poofy area. For me to be able to wear a style like this, there are a couple things that would have to happen. And one of them is I definitely would have to have this kind of go up and away. I definitely would have to have a little lift here so it's not just doing this all the way down the side of my face. And I would need it to kind of continue to do that lift, especially on this side, sort of all the way down here. May end up tucking this because I usually end up doing that anyway. But even if I wasn't, I definitely would want to try to kind of keep it up there, help it out a little bit. Every time that I would wear this, I would just coax it, probably go again at it with this, just to kind of keep reminding it. You know, these fibers, synthetic fibers, I think the magic about them and a huge positive about synthetic fibers is they have a memory. Now, heat-friendly fibers, you can change that memory with some new heat, with a new style. When you wash it, it comes back with whatever you did last. Well, I mean, it's kind of the same with the non-heat friendly fibers as well. So I'm just going to kind of try to continue to coax this. It does and will have sort of a memory in there. So even if I wash it, I will definitely be fighting with it a lot less. And if I really love the style, all of that's going to be very, very worth it. So even though, you know, we did take some heat to this just to kind of encourage it to go to the side. It's a bit of a messy part right now, and that's okay, actually. I don't mind that. But even with a really sleek, straight style, I still would want to sort of get the fibers sort of up and off this cap. I think that brings realism to any style, any piece, is by not, you know, don't just stick it on your head even if you're loving it. Definitely get those fibers worked off that cap because it just releases the fibers and separates them a bit. And I think that's something that you should always do no matter what the style is, even if it's super short. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and grab a hairspray. I'm going to grab this one first. We'll see how this works. I might have to use another one. I'm really liking this with most of my pieces. It depends if I want sort of a more of a light, airy spray or not. This is an aerosol, so it is light and airy. It's by Hair You Wear, and it's called Control. You can also control how much product you want to spray out by this little tip here. Let's see if you can see that. It's probably upside down. So there's a low, medium, and high, and that just lets however much product you want out. I think I have mine either on low and medium. Let's see, what do I have it on right now? It's on medium, so I'm just going to keep it there. So let me work on doing a little of this. So, I mean, to me, that is just a must for me. I have to definitely lift those fibers up and off. Also, guys, when you get fallout like this, that's pretty normal with a brand new wig. You're going to have those loose fibers kind of work their way out. That's going to happen. Some, I have to say, do that more than others. There's a lot more fallout in some wigs than others, and I'm not sure why. I don't know why I'm not ever startled by it though, because I've never had one be completely ruined on me or like, holy mackerel, is this ever going to stop? So it doesn't really bother me, but definitely be mindful of that because you might have it all over your clothes before you head out the door. So this is utterly beautiful. So I'm going to do another little spin here. I'm not sure if I probably should take a... So I do not have a particularly long neck. This one may hit you a little higher, depending on how long your neck is. So keep that in mind. So the one we just looked at, guys, was Selena in Palm Springs Blonde. This one here is called Bryce, and this is in the color shaded Mocha. Wow, this color is stunning. First of all, absolutely gorgeous. I have a few toppers in this color. I even have definitely this color in my collection of wigs. It is beautiful. It is kind of what I reach for in the fall, but it doesn't matter. This is just a stunning color in general. It looks a little warmer, almost a lot more sort of strawberry caramel in the non-HD fiber than it does in the heat-friendly fiber, but both are spectacular, gorgeous. Oh my gosh, I think I'm really gonna like this piece. Okay, so I just put this on my head, guys, and straightened it out. That is all. You can always tell when I get a little excited. Let me talk about what I was talking about before I realized I wasn't even recording. And that is when I was about ready to take out the little style that I did with the last one. But before I really start unveiling that style, because maybe you have an updo, you know, you want to be really careful with those fibers. So what I like to do is I like to spritz a sort of detangler in there, assisting me to really carefully undo whatever the style is that I had going on there. So I have a couple options I want to share with you today. I have Smooth Detangler here by Beauty Mark. Lovely option. And then I have one by Aesthetica called Revitalize and Shine. I am loving this. They're both nice. And I tend to, well, just let me go back here. So Revitalize and Shine is really nice. I'm loving it because it's quite light. And I prefer both of these, I'm going to be honest, over the Jon Renau Detangler. I'm just not a fan of their particular one. I think it gums up really quickly, even if you go light, I found. Unless they've changed the formula. I haven't used it since about 2018. But so I have been on a lookout because I have not been able to find a really nice detangler that I like. This is lovely. I like it because it is so light. And you still want to go light-ish with your detanglers so they don't gum up. But I find that you can use this one a little bit more liberally without that happening. And it really does revitalize the fibers, separates them for you, so you have a little more longevity with them. I still always use a wide toothpick, even on the non-heat friendly fibers, because those ones are quite a bit more delicate than these. But nonetheless, I love this a lot. It's great to use, which you should detangle your wigs before you either take them off your head or take them off and then go ahead and spritz this, you know, around, or a detangler, and start at the bottoms and work all of those little tangles out. Don't put it right back in the box after that because it's going to be a little tiny bit damp. you're going to want to stick it on one of those dryer racks and let it dry overnight. And then if you want to put it back in the box, you can. But either way, either one, something like this or something quite light like this. Now, I do reach for this one. This one's a little bit more wet. I do reach for that if I find I have a lot of sort of tangles, then I will go in with this. But for instance, for something like doing this, now I just put this on my head, and I think before I even take, 'cause it's right out of the box and I haven't done anything to it. So before I even take this to it, I'm just gonna lightly sort of spritz this all over, especially the bottom. Just a little, smells lovely, not overpowering. And then I'm gonna go in with my pick and go at the bottom. My goodness, look at how gorgeous this color is. Go at the bottom and work my way up. If you have a particularly sort of stubborn area, just spritz it again. Okay, let's get to working with this one. So we have a crisscross part. I want to make sure this is straight. It is straight. So, you know, I misspoke. Did I misspeak? Yes. I thought this was a left side monofilament part. This is actually a middle monofilament part. So let me try to break up that crisscross part. And even though this is a middle, there is a little room to play, guys, from here to here. So I'm going to take mine as far to the left as I can, because you know I'm not a straight in the middle type person. Some of you look absolutely stunning with a middle part. However, it's not my choice. If I can avoid it, I might not be able to. So now I'm just going to kind of, maybe I'm just going to let it do what it thinks it wants to do. Wow, this is pretty. Let's just kind of get these fibers moving first before we get too excited. Then I'll do a spin. I haven't forgotten. I got a little too prematurely excited though, I know. Maybe I can. All right, maybe I won't fight that. So with this one, I definitely would use my dark brown fill-in powder just right here. Let me scoot back a little bit so you guys can see the length, because it's kind of perfect. It isn't too long. And we do have those kind of pieces that are working their way out. That's okay. Did I get the crisscross out? Yeah, I think so. It kind of wants, I think it kind of wants to go, maybe not. Okay. Wow, Jon Renau, you really killed it with this one. This is gorgeous. All right, all right, all right. Let me do a spin. This is a sort of a put on and head out the door kind of style. I mean, I would recommend doing kind of what we did and kind of lift those layers. And I definitely would add some hairspray. I don't know what I'm more in love with, the color or the actual wig. I think the combination of both is stunning. Wow, this color is gorgeous. I am loving this one because it is kind of that shape and body that I wish I had in real life, first of all, but more so, it is just so becoming to any age. You know, I'm going to be 57 in October, and I'm telling you, I would feel fine wearing this because we have just really sort of this light face framing, pretty layering going on here, but yet it's not completely over the top. It doesn't look over styled because that in and of itself to me can, I don't know, just make me feel a little bit overdone. But this one I don't think is overdone at all. It's like, okay, maybe this is about, you know, the second or third day into really big hot curled hair, and it's now relaxed and kind of perfect. That's what I'm feeling with this. Yeah, it's got just the right amount of wave. It's really pretty. Also, wow, the cut is, again, face framing. We've got some long bang, and I love that. I'm not a big full bang person, never have been really. So this is right up my alley, right up my alley. And this particular color, and I have a funny feeling even if it were a different color, you have a little bit more sort of a lighter sort of highlighting around the front there. Done so well. Wow. This one, boy, could have a lot of fun with this. There are updos in the future with this one. You can do sort of a half up, half down, make this look really formal if you so chose, but can look also super casual. You know, I feel great with this. I have jeans on, a little summer shirt, pretending we're having spring here because we're not, but would feel very, very just, I just have pretty hair, what can I say, kind of thing going on here. This is truly a shake and go. And see, that's the thing. I think a lot of you shy away from longer styles because you're afraid that it's going to take a lot to get to go out the door. This is a prime example of not at all. I can fuss with my shorter, medium shorter styles quite a bit before I head out the door. This one is not giving me any issues at all, and it truly is kind of a shake and go. I would have to put the hairspray in like I did, you know, and get it to kind of be tamed a bit and say, hey, this is probably where I want you today. Plus it gets the flyaways out and controlled. We looked at 2 today, and we don't have time for me to do some fun styles with this, but I am going to do that. I'm going to do it in its own separate video, and I'm going to show you how quick it is for me to get something like this. Just twist and stick a big clip in there, get it off my neck for the summer. I would totally wear this in the summer. I would have to wear it up, but I would, and I'm going to show you in another video, I promise, how easy it is to do that. We do not have an extended nape in either one of these, in case you didn't notice. We do have the velvet ear tabs, which keep it very comfortable. And the velvet lining is also on the nape area back there as well. Both have the same beautiful lace front. You do not trim these kind of lace fronts, you guys. They are made to just lay nicely on your forehead. And the minute you start trimming that, it's going to mess that up. So don't do that. Don't tempt yourself to do that. You don't need to. They're gorgeous. They're called smart lace for a reason. And both these styles have that. The only difference between the caps with this one and Selena is this one has the monofilament middle part. It's pretty generous, but I don't know. I'm not liking it, actually. So I don't know. Thank you so much for tuning in. Always hope you find these helpful in your search for your next wig, or maybe even your very first one. We'll see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye-bye.